Lubbers, so most of you don't know me, and I work together with Gert-Jan and Dirk and other colleagues at Rumbold in facilitating these sessions and hopefully inspire you this morning with some great new insights. So imagine a future where AI revolutionizes the recruitment process, making it faster, more efficient, and bias-free. So how does that sound? Great, I would say, right? So, and that's also why we invited Lawrence to talk about this. And I would like to introduce him by some fun facts, because of course you can look him up on LinkedIn and see his work experience and his full profile. But let me introduce Lawrence in a different way. So Lawrence started his own first company at the age of 15. In 2005, he lived in Finland for 6 months. He was voted the best goalkeeper in Delft and surrounding areas in 2013. In 2022, he stayed in 17 vacation homes. So quite interesting. He recovered from a burnout by living in the midst of nature and being completely offline for 6 months. He meditates almost every day, and he has over 11,000 followers on LinkedIn. So probably after this session, I think it would be great to also look him up at LinkedIn and follow him as well. So yeah, really great to have you here, Lawrence, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for this very nice introduction with facts that I think even my nearest colleague, Ike, in this call didn't know about me. And it was really nice for you to ask for them, and I had to dig a while in my history to find some fun facts. And hearing them in a row is quite, okay, impressive. Different parts of my life come by. One of the red lines through that is that I've always been interested in getting the potential out of people and getting the potential out of myself, as I feel most people are stuck. Quite often I feel like the work environment of organizations, especially that as we now have them and as we organize them nowadays, they feel like prisons. Not a while ago, I walked by one of these large office buildings around 5 o'clock, and I heard somebody getting out of the building and then calling his wife and say, "Hey, I'm free." And it's like, okay, this is not, you're not locked in there, right? It's you spend most of your time there, and how can you experience the feeling of freedom, the feeling of creativity, the feeling of flow within your work? I've always been obsessed by that. Why do not many people have that? And I always try to have it myself. Learned a lot by that, what is necessary to have that feeling, to feel productive, to feel meaningful in my work. And one of the lessons that always come back to me is practice what you preach. So you can tell a lot about stuff and where we're heading, dream a lot, but if you're not doing it, if you're not walking your talk, it's difficult to follow. It's difficult to believe. It's just a nice story. People walk away and they didn't feel anything. So since then, every time when I'm in an audience, whether it's in an online call like this, a small one-on-one, or yesterday I was in an audience of 150 recruiters. Every time I try to touch people and see if I can really, give them a feeling of what I'm talking about. And this is really releasing the energy of this workforce. That's the red line throughout my career. I've been doing it as an organization consultant for the first years after my study. I've always been combining that with IT, which I studied in Delft. And I thought after a while I didn't want to work. Please mute. After a while I didn't want to work in an organization anymore, and I quit organizations in 2014. I said I never want to work in an organization anymore, and I started a collaboration with freelancers. just to work horizontally and with no bosses. We kind of found out that we needed a marketplace to share the work. So you can, if you have an assignment, you can just put it in the middle and people can just sign up for different tasks. And there wasn't like a marketplace for tasks. So in 2015, I started Partup, marketplace for task Partups. For 7 years, I've been running that company, and I have made a lot of ups and downs. One of the major ups was during the Corona crisis, when 7 hospitals started using this platform immediately to put on all the work that needed to be done for Corona, and all the employees that were shut down from work, they could pick tasks from the platform, and suddenly the whole hospital started working on the platform. And I was like, wow, this is where I made it for. And I thought this is the breakthrough. But 3 months later, all the hospitals went back to normal, and they stopped using the platform again. So I was just too early. Out of the 50 implementations I did in several large companies, government, non-government, I've only 5 made it quite successful. There is still like the RVO is altijd in the Netherlands, the agency for entrepreneurs from the government. They have 8,000 people, and all of them have 20% part-up time within their contract, meaning they can 1 day in a week work at another department at the tasks that are published on part-up, and managers cannot hire externally before they publish the task internally using the internal capacity of an organization. I think it's a really interesting example of internal mobility, with people still at the same place, but they can get the sense of how it is and working at another part of the organization. During my career, I noticed lots of ways while this was not possible, and lots of reasons why it was not possible. Managers said, and want my people to stay here. I'm not participating in this sharing of employees within the company. People didn't feel secure in saying, hey, I have time to pick up another task, or didn't want to let go of that task. I didn't trust somebody else with that task. I noticed lots of cultural reasons and people being afraid of sharing work, picking up work, letting employees go there. Learned a lot, and I thought it was not going to break through. So I sold the company in 2021. And that was also the moment my kids got Corona. I had no work. I sat at home for 3-4 months, and I realized I had to go into a divorce. And that actually caused my burnout, not working, but delaying the divorce based on the young kids I had. So I quit home, and I started living in nature in 7 holiday houses. 17 during the whole year, but the first 7 also in 6 weeks got me recovered from that burnout, realizing I had to go out, I had to be in nature, I had to be free to get back into contact with my own potential and with my own energy again. Now, feeling that, I realized, yes, I really want to work with new technology. I want to work with releasing the energy of people, but I need to do it differently. Then I met Han, who's the founder of 8 Funds, and 8 Funds was a really unknown company in Venlo, working on AI for 10 years already. And I met him before, and he always said to me, it's impressive. Everybody heard about your company, but you have no intelligence in there. And I said, yeah, you have a lot of intelligence, but yeah, nobody heard about you. And we, after my burnout, I thought I thought, what do I want to do? I considered many different other steps, like becoming a stand-up comedian and stuff like that. But I thought, no, I want to get back in the field of matching people to work. So I started helping Han getting this company on the map, because I thought AI is needed to predict exactly what kind of jobs you can do. Beyond the eye of the recruiter, beyond the eye of the HR department, there's stuff that you can do with your skills, with your profile, that is probably already done by somebody else. So if you can get enough data from enough people into a system, you can start doing predictions on what stuff you can also do. So you can, expand your possibilities for individuals within organizations and beyond organizations. And Han was already doing this for many recruiters and recruitment agencies, staffing agencies. What he did, he had been scraping the internet for many years for public profiles. So he analyzed these profiles, and we're still doing it at Advance. We're training AI based on millions of public profiles. And I become the marketing director. I call it chief evangelist of Advance. So my job nowadays is to be on stage and inspire about the possibilities of AI, while at the same time working with a company with 50 data scientists who every day build these algorithms, analyzing millions of profiles and then predicting for the next profile, for your profile or for your candidate's profile, what is the best available job or the best available candidate if you're a recruiter. So this, for me, it's a really interesting journey. Lately, I learned a lot about AI, about the legal possibilities there, especially many people yesterday, for instance, ask a lot of questions. Is it allowed to scrape, like for instance, LinkedIn? Is it allowed to train data? Is it allowed to search with these algorithms on public profiles and then get candidates? Yes, it's all allowed, but there are of course different steps that you need to take into account. But then you have an algorithm, and an algorithm is just a word of a stack of algorithms. It's like 50 different algorithms. With AI, you can actually ask, give me a new algorithm to make better predictions. So it's beyond the human intelligence of building an algorithm and letting the computer do the computing. It's actually past our own knowledge. It's asking, what kind of algorithms do I need to predict what kind of work is necessary here? So it's data analysis at a really large scale. Well, nowadays we have this technology available. We have built a platform on top of it, meaning you can put your own profile in there, get matching vacancies, basically all the vacancies we have in there, because they're also, of course, open on the internet. But most of the times we use this for intermediaries, recruiters, agencies, corporate recruiters, everybody in the middle, I would say, between the hiring manager and the candidate to do the best match. But yeah, this technology is also available for hiring managers themselves. And I see in this future of recruitment and in the future of HR that this whole middleman is going to get out of the way. It's cutting the middleman. It's like we did in the travel branch with the travel agencies. Before we had Booking.com, of course, if you need to travel, you go to a travel agency and you ask, I want a trip to whatever, and they're going to do it for you. But nowadays, 90% of the people, I don't know, do it themselves, and there is still room for some boutique travel agencies. Like there will be room for some boutique recruitment firms and some recruiters, I would say, at organizations, but their role will change from ad hoc recruitment to a more strategic recruitment, from running from vacancy to vacancy, from candidate to candidate. I think this will be done in a more like Tinder way, between a candidate and a hiring manager. We like each other, we like this job, hey, we have a match, have an informal conversation. Based on the data underneath, you don't have to talk to 100 applicants. Now you only need to talk to the top 3 that you already know that will be the best fit, because AI did the matching.
And Lawrence, just out of curiosity, will that happen in a year's time, in 5 years, in 10, in 20? What's your prediction?
That's the question everybody's asking, and the answer is it is already happening at an extremely fast pace and scale. If you zoom into it, if you zoom out, you don't see it in most organizations yet, and it will take a while before it is implemented everywhere. But it is like all this self-sturing, self-organizations, as we call it in Dutch. For years we've been talking about it, but slowly it is getting everywhere in the management style, right? And you can say, oh, we're never getting there. You can say we're already there. It takes a while for changes to get there. If you zoom into it, you see lots of examples. I see a lot of platforms going here. I see lots of candidates using AI to write, of course, applications, and also to apply and to schedule job interviews automatically. So the candidates are definitely using AI for applications. And I see lots of recruiters using AI, of course, already to do the matching and to do a selection process there. And also, I think hiring managers will more and more bypass recruiters and HR to do this themselves. as I see, of course, it's a pity, but the role of HR in many companies is still a bit of more like defensive card keeping. They're doing the administration. They're not ahead of this innovation and bringing this innovation to the firm. They're not steering in the board. We need to go this direction, and yeah, that's a pity for the role of HR. I think there's chances there to get like more strategically involved and get on top of these trends and really get them and bring them to the organization.
And to be able to do that, Lawrence, what would be your #1 tip for everybody here to make that happen, to be in front of this?
First of all, free yourself from your daily workload. As I see, many people are just stuck in the day-to-day business, and they don't see it even because they feel like they're too stressed, and they think tomorrow will be better, or once we did this project, we're not rolling out this because we're doing too much. Get out of that. Free up yourself, free up time in your calendar, and talk to different people, and start reading, following, and playing, especially with all these tools. They're just out there, of course. Don't do just 3 prompts in ChatGPT. I think 20, 30 a day. Every email I send out of there, I have checked by ChatGPT. Is it the correct language? Is it the right tone? Is there something else I should have said, could have said, or should? It's just helping me with everything. Every social media post, everything I do. And if you get it into your own system as an individual, and you're then talking about, hey, as an organization, we need to embrace this kind of technology, it's a whole different story than if you're the HR manager telling we need to go there, but you don't do it yourself. And if more and more people see that you're doing it, they start doing it themselves. You start to play, and you need to have this free space, of course, also together in your meetings together, talk about it, and then really talk about the essence. Why are we here? What do we need to do? And can we do it faster? And then there is so much in HR that you can improve already. These chatbots nowadays are not the chatbots that were yesterday. There is calling robots and stuff like that nowadays that are fluent in endless languages that can immediately answer all your HR questions. When is my salary paid? How many days do I get free for pregnancy? Whatever. Trained on your policy of your company, these AI bots in 24 hours can be up there, and all your questions can be answered. All these the HR administration can be done. All in recruitment, all these job interviews can also be done by bots. They can free up so much time, record all these interviews, analyze all this data, and you get it's endless what the possibilities are from HR to get more data. Let me just show quickly one example that I think is really interesting. I've got a small presentation here. I'll skip a few slides because I'm not want to give a presentation, but it's just a major deck. Wait, based on public profile. So a public profile is in LinkedIn profile where somebody selected what is being shared public. So this is just a setting from LinkedIn, but most people have seen it. If you share your profile public, then all LinkedIn members of your LinkedIn and your content will also be visible in search results like Google, Bing, etc. So you're sharing your public profile. 7 million people in the Netherlands did this. So there are 10 million LinkedIn profiles. 7 million people put it on LinkedIn. To give it a context, we have 3 million people higher educated in the Netherlands, as we call it. So that's most of these people also do not even have a higher education level. And they're all just on there. If you have an organization, probably 80-90% of your people is just on LinkedIn. And you can analyze the profiles of your people within your company, the companies where they came from, the companies where they're going to after your company. And you can actually see all kind of patterns in there. And you can also predict, using the technology that I was just talking about, what kind of skills people have. So what you see is here's a graph of skills that are related. So if you have a certain skill, you also have other skills. And if you zoom in, you see like lots of these. It looks a little bit like this. If you think about a few skills that you have, you might probably think about 20, 25 skills or something like that if you're working in HR. But you're not aware of the 250 that you probably have if you look at these related skills. Well, you can then at all these profiles, you can enrich them with the skills that they have. Wait, this is something also really interesting to show. It's the map of people stepping from one job to another job. So all these small little dots are jobs and job categories, and the lines between there are transfers between jobs. And then there is one island actually that in data on HR, that's this island. People are just actually stuck there. So it's not that people transfer from HR jobs to other jobs in the company or outside the company, just to other HR jobs. Statistically, when you're working in HR, you're working on an island. I just want to say that in the meantime. But what I wanted to show you was this one. I was at a large organization lately, one large financial organization in the Netherlands, one of the well-known banks. And before entering there, I could just look up on the internet to 22,000 profiles from people working there. I asked AI to classify all these profiles, just publicly available, and see what kind of functions these are. So bringing down all these fancy function titles to just like general function titles. And here you see like the most common functions in this organization. And I also asked to give me a list of the skills that these people have. So this is a graph of the top skills that these people have in the company. So based on the function that they have, based on skills that they might also give on their profile for themselves, but usually based on predictions, based on their work experience, previous job, based on their education, the prediction of the certain skills that they have. And here you see the top skills that are currently available. Then I did the same analysis with the vacancies. So the outstanding vacancies, I found like 5,600 vacancies over the last year I published. And I asked what kind of functions and what kind of skills. And here is the numbers of skills that are asked in these vacancies. And you see they're asking for totally different skills like data, agile, Azure. Then in the previous graph, skills that they have currently available in-house. So here you see like the skills gap of this organization is just out there. It's just public, without even walking in, without doing any assessment. I just have all the data available from that company. And it's not just because they have 22,000 employees. When you have 100, you can also do the same analysis for your company. And then I would say this information is so crucial for any policy that you want to make on where do we get the skills from in the future. Is it going to be upskilling? Is it going to be reskilling? Where in the labor market do we get them from? What kind of things do we need to do now to make sure that we get the employees or the skills flowing in the future? What kind of educations we should collaborate with? What kind of other companies we should collaborate with? Maybe we can offer career paths with different companies working together. Maybe start sharing employees is something I also see more and more. It starts with sharing the silver medalist. Those are the people that are rejected from a job. So you apply for a job, you become second or third, whatever, but you are in a movement, you are interested in a company. Don't lose those people. There's this silver medalist can, especially with these skills-based matching technologies, automatically be rotated to other jobs that also match their interest or their skills. And if you do that with several companies working together, like for instance, the energy companies are now doing, Alliander, Stedin, and Nexus, they don't want to lose anyone applying for a solar panel engineer because we have 60,000 missing vacancies missing there. So anyone applying at one of these companies and being rejected is offered immediately another job at the same company or one of the other companies that are collaborating in an organization together. And so now they're doing it with the applicants. And next step is doing it with employees as well, just giving them a broader experience of possibilities in different companies. If you think about healthcare, for instance, 40% of the people leave within 2 years of the new nurses students there. And why did they leave? Because they do not get the expectations what they had in their study from working in the organization, but they only sense one place. And many of them become a freelancer, so they get the benefits from choosing themselves where they go to get to work and when they get to work, etc., etc. So if you can offer them the experience as a freelancer by just working together with different organizations, offering different positions, you can keep those people. And I think that's the stuff that HR should be thinking about. Skills-based, what kind of people we have here. This analysis can easily be done. Looking at the work, what is needed, and we do the same thing with jobs. Comparing a job to millions of other vacancies, we can predict the skills for a job. So a job vacancy, the job text is just easily enriched with skills that are also needed. So you get like a skills cloud full of skills needed for a job, a skills cloud around a candidate full of skills the candidate probably also have. If you look at the 100 skills predicted for yourself, 99 are correct, and there's just always one outlier to think, why is it predicted for me? I don't have that skill. But yeah, even without anyone taking an assessment there, you can then start calculating deep matches on many data points from a candidate and on many data points from a vacancy. What is the match there? I think this future of possibilities with AI in HR is totally endless. And I'm still answering your question, Larry.
I have another one, but yeah.
So I'm also open for other questions. But yeah,
of course,
I want to inspire you people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
Sorry. Yes, I have one. If the model you are running take into account the positivity bias that both candidates and both recruiters are using when they present themselves, when they polish their profiles on LinkedIn, or the recruiters when they polish the job advertising, it's always, seems a bit of, too positive or too,
Yeah, there's many ways that there's bias, and yes, these algorithms can take out of this bias. They can just predict objectively what kind of skills you have based on work experience, based on education. So it doesn't matter if you're male or female. In general, males try to be more positive about about what they do. But the AI can actually validate also the skills that you have. Is it likely that you have these skills? So yeah, I'm very good at cooking, you can say. But looking at where did you learn cooking? Was it at home? Was it just at a regular canteen from a company, or did you work in a star restaurant as a chef cook? And did you have the education for that? It can both end up with the skill cooking, but there's a whole different level of the way you reach that skill. And then by objectively predicting these skills, or just you can adjust, of course, in your profile. Yeah, I'm really good at cooking. Well, we can just predict. We can also show what on average these people with these candidates with these profiles have. We can actually get rid of this bias and also get rid of many other biases that we have in recruitment. I think that's the whole thing about diversity and inclusion we have nowadays, right? This is not fair chances on the labor market. And if we do use technology like this, we can get rid of many of these biases.
I think this this is really amazing, and I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm also curious, Lars, about the context. So you can see, okay, this person has the perfect skills for this job, but you also have a certain culture that people need to work in, on a certain context, or work with certain people. Is that also something that you can just put in the system and say, this is the culture, and we are looking for someone who's a perfect fit for this particular culture, and besides the skills that you need to have?
Yeah. One of the things we can do, let me also show you another graph I made for the same large bank, is the personality. So here's a model I used. It's called My Drives, and it works with pairs of personalities. And the combination of competition and freedom was most available there. And holistic and security in the way it's done in this personality test is least available. These are just predictions for everybody in the company on a certain personality that they have there. And of course, with these predictions of the personalities that are available, you can now start looking, okay, do we want matching people, or do we want to have differences there? Of course, that's an interesting choice that you can make. And here I have a next graph that's more in general. It's about predictions of the RIASEC Holland Code score and the MBTI score. I know that one is not scientifically. Many people maybe argue about the value of that scientifically, but it is a very good predictor predictor we found out for the next step in your job. And I'm just giving it as an example. With any kind of these personality tests, we can just predict the outcome, because we have if you have databases, lots of people taking these tests. And then you can just, here I do it for several functions. So for instance, this chef cook or a mover, somebody, what's called in English, helps you move from house to house. There's also different other stuff that these people can start doing different. And this is an endless list of functions that are correlated with this type of function because of the soft skills, because of the personality test beyond there. So the question that you're asking is, yes, you can actually use this to skip any assessments there for current cultural assessments and get an idea of the current culture. And then, do we want to have matching people? Well, find them. Or do we want to have different because we want to start something else? Then you can find them. And where in the labor market you can find them, you can also, searching through these public profiles, we can also really predict where you can find them. Yeah.
And what I'm also interested in is, and this is really from a company perspective, but you said, as an employee 10 years ago, I would wish that this was already out there. So I can imagine that there are probably more people. And just to give an example myself, and I was interviewed by a recruiter, and I also have a working experience background at a large corporate. That particular recruiter has been working for that company also for a couple of years, and she had a certain bias about people working in a corporate environment. So I really felt like you're in the way of me getting that job, because I knew that I would be a good candidate for that particular job. But she had such a strong bias. She even said, "Oh, please be aware of what you're wearing if you go to the interview." So I thought, let's remove the middleman, and then I can see and have a direct contact with that company. So do you also see a push from employees or from maybe a difference between the generations, that they really say, we want this. I don't want to have a middleman anymore, or I want to be assessed based on the skills that I have?
I think it's the same question you got earlier. I see this happening. If you look at next generations, Gen Z coming up, in the way they use tools in general, the way they want to have everything done by AI. Of course, they want to have this done with AI as well. And it's the same thing. The same way as you can say, no, it's not happening yet. It will take many years. That's also true. But this is definitely happening.
Yeah. Okay, also conscious of time, we have 5 minutes left. Any questions from anyone else? Ed.
Maybe I have two. One I already posted in the chat, and the second one, there is, I think, a cultural difference based on nationality. If you go to Germany, people are much more careful in what they put public and how they like internet and those kind of tools being used. So maybe you can make some comment relative to that. Have you already seen a difference between, for instance, the Netherlands embracing this more, or other regions? And then the other question is, what for those candidates that don't like to have their profiles public?
Definitely. We are a company based in Venlo with a German founder and a Dutch founder, and we're both looking at the German and the Dutch market a lot. And I see there's differences. In the Netherlands, we are more ahead in terms of embracing AI, and Germany is like 1-2 years behind. Lately, they allowed Street View there when we had it for 10 years already. There is, of course, more holding back, but there's also in Germany millions of profiles out there available already, and it's a good starting point. It's far better than any recruiter, and more profiles than any recruiter will ever see in their life. So this data might not be perfect or as complete as it could be yet, but it's so much better than nothing. And then there's also, we're in the background, we're linking this Dutch, English, German, and there's no other languages, French and Italian skills also to each other. So it might be a little bit different, but you can also learn a lot from international conditions. And there's one other funny thing I heard yesterday coming up, related also to the question Leonie was a bit asking. Many recruiters always get positive feedback, or usually, but they don't get negative feedback because people want to be, positively viewed by recruiters. But go to a birthday and then ask, my son or daughter wants to go in recruitment. What do you think? Is it a good idea if they not know that you're in recruitment? And you see that there's a whole different attention or idea towards recruitment or HR in general in society, I would say, and I think it's people are starting to see it not as okay, it's needed, but more like okay, there are other ways around as well. And was there another question also that you wanted to ask?
Well, the other thing I wrote is so essentially those people that don't have much of their profiles public are going to lose out. Candidates will kind of, for those recruiting companies or companies that use the AI tools, they will only find candidates of which there's information available. Yeah,
so there's two things. First of all, we use public profiles to train algorithms to predict, and second, we use it to search through public profiles. But in many cases, you don't need to search through public profiles. You can also search through people in your ATS, people applying at your company, or search through the people working at your company if you have like a database within the company. So you can connect to. I see more and more agencies allowing firms to search in their database. Then you can connect all these different sources and do one search with your vacancy through these vacancies available. And I predict now, especially now LinkedIn is narrowing again what is being found publicly online on your profile. Even though many people want to publish their profile, they want to be found. So that's interesting. But there were like companies like a Randstad or whatever. They will start presenting themselves as, if you give your data to us, we will make sure it's at one place, and we will give you job offers that actually match your data. And you can say how often and stuff like that. But we want to be the place where you have at one place stored your profile. And actually, UWV in the Netherlands, they want to do the same thing like that. They want to be like giving service to everybody in the labor market. We just signed a 14 years contract with them, delivering this technology behind werk.nl. So soon 500,000 people will start using this technology to get skills-based matches if they're unemployed. But even if you're employed and you're using werk.nl because you think, hey, I want to see new job opportunities, then the UWV also has this ambition: give us one place your profile, not upload your CV everywhere and lose your data. No. Make sure it's just stored at one place. Apply with that profile where you adjust and you give as much data as you want, and you probably have an incentive then to give a lot of information because you get very good job fit matching jobs there. And I think that will be the future. And then we don't need these public profiles that much anymore.
Thanks.
Lawrence, also conscious of time, I also see a question from Diederik, but we will share that later on with you, Lawrence. If anyone else after this call has questions for you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
LinkedIn is, of course, the most easiest way. Just send me a connection request on LinkedIn. There you can find also my cell phone number. You can find my mail address, but the messages to LinkedIn I answer daily. So I can share you the presentation if you want to on LinkedIn. I can send you PDF. Connect with me. Yeah,
perfect. I really want to thank you for this inspiring session. A lot of new things, a lot of possibilities. That's really clear. And I also really like your tip: free yourself from the daily workload. I think that's something that we can all take with us. Just one last thing, that the next first Friday of the month, which is the 3rd of May, we have Caroline Segers from Nationale Nederlanden. And we will share more information about that, which will be focused on remuneration and the supervisory board and the management team. So also a very interesting topic, completely different, but hopefully very inspiring as well. So wish you a happy Friday and a good weekend. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dirk. You can end the recording.